Hello everyone. We are in the data visualization chapter. So it is the last step in data analytics course. So far you have gained a lot of skills that is needed for data analyst. You have learned how to acquire data from various resources, which is data acquisition process. You have learned how to gather the data from various sources that you learned in data wrangling chapter, how to merge, how to combine the data, those techniques that you learned. And then you learned how to clean and pre-process the data, which is data pre-processing step, and you learned all the libraries that is needed to perform these tasks. So whatever you have learned so far will take 80% of data analysts' efforts. The remaining 20% is to convert that data into information. Okay, so the final goal of a data analyst is to gain some actual insight of the data and convert it into meaningful information. So we as a humans, we can digest information more effectively when it is served to our visual memory because we are more visual related. Our brain works more effectively when we understand and analyze the things visually. Okay, so the data visualization serves this purpose because it helps us to understand the underlying structure of the data, and it will help us to interpret the data into more meaningful information. So making the plots, a graph, a chart will help us to find the underlying structure of the data. So that is what you're going to learn in this chapter, how to make plots, different kind of plots according to the data. Okay, so the data visualization is more effective in terms of understanding the structure. It's rather than just looking at the line number. When you provide the visual representation, it will give the overall summary of the data. Okay, and also it will help us to understand the underlying structure or interactions between variables. The relationship between the variables can be understood easily when it is platted, when the data is platted. So there are different libraries are available like Matplotlib, Seaborn, Plotlib, Coupling. A lot of libraries are there. In this chapter, you're going to learn Matplotlib and Seaborn, and also Pandas provide the basic plotting options. You're going to learn some of the techniques that methods, the plot method, which is very useful in Pandas. So we're going to learn about plot method in Pandas, and then we are going to learn about Matplotlib and Seaborn package. Okay, each library has its own advantages and disadvantages. We are going to discuss that. Okay, and we are going to learn how we can effectively use this library for different purposes. Okay, for example, if we speak about the pandas methods, pandas is actually not for data visualization. It is more of data manipulation library, data analysis library. It will be helpful. It has a lot of helpful methods available for analyze, clean, and explore and manipulate the data. That's what you learned so far in this course, in all these chapters. Most of your learning efforts goes to learning about pandas and different methods available in pandas to perform data manipulation and data cleaning, right? So pandas, you have learned that pandas can be extremely helpful in clean the messy data and make it organized and make it like ready to process. In this chapter, you're going to learn in the first section, you're going to learn about how the data pandas can be helpful to visualize the data as well. And then in the second chapter, you're going to learn about Matplotlib in the second section. Okay, so Matplotlib has like huge set of packages, methods available to perform 2D plotting, particularly for two-dimensional plotting. Matplotlib has a lot of methods. It was released in 2003, but since then it is most popular and widely used data visualization library. Because of its use of ease and it is easy to integrate with Python. So you can use Matplotlib to create any kind of plot, spot chart, pie chart, histograms, scatter chart. A lot of possible options are there that we're going to discuss. And then Plotly is another useful web-based data visualization method. We are not going to learn about Plotly. We are going to learn about only Pandas, Matplotlib, and Cpon. But Plotly is also widely used package, but it is mostly used for web-based data visualization. It will be integrated, can be integrated with HTML files. It provides more than 40 unique chart types. It also can do the 3D charts. Okay, so you can explore more if you want to know more about Plotly, but we are going to cover Cbon in the third section. Cbon, it's the integration of Matplotlib and Pandas. It provides a data set oriented plotting, like what to say, the 3D function depends on the data, what kind of data. Some data will be more fit with some kind of chart. So it will help us to pick chart based on the data, okay, data oriented charting. It can provide, it has higher level interface option that can help us to create more beautiful and informative and more customized plotting. Okay, so Cbon also has lot of built-in data sets that we can simply download to try all these plots. So you can look at this different types of plotting, which is normally line plot, box plot, pie plot, and KDE plot, hexagon plot, this is histogram, and area plotting, scatter plot. These are the plots that we are going to cover mostly. All these plots are supported by all these packages, starting from Pandas, Matplotlib, Plotly, even all this. These are the basic plots can be supported by any plotting related packages. Okay, so we have wide variety of options. When we have wide variety of options, how to select from these options, which data, which one we have to select for particular data will be more suitable for particular plotting, right? So how can we select that? So generally speaking, there are two types of data, categorical and numerical data. But if you go deeper, dive deeper, we can further divide it to numerical data and categorical data combined together, or time series data. There are different things. Maybe I suggest you to explore this data to this website to know more about data type and different types of plotting. For example, if you have numerical data at your hand, if you want to analyze the numerical data, then this tree gives you the options which kind of chart that you have to select if you want to explore numerical data. Histogram, box plot, violin. So these are different types of charts that will be helpful to analyze the numerical data. If you have categorical data, then these are the different options that you can explore. Okay. And then if you have the combination of numerical and categorical data, then scatter plot, area plot. Okay. And then these are the different types of plotting options that you can consider. And if it is map, then you can see the map is unique thing, unique data, so which is getting widely popular nowadays, and it's kind of unique data. You can see what kind of map sorting options that you can select when you have map related data. And for network, there are certain mapping charting facility which you can, these are not supported in the basic library that we are going to learn in the Matplotlib. All those things does not provide these kind of advanced options, but Matplotlib, Cbon, and Pandas provides the options to support most of the numeric, categoric, and time series related data. Okay, so for time series related data, you need box plot. Box plot will be the best one for time series related data. Okay, so mostly the packages that you're going to learn in this course will help us to cover numeric related data, categorical related data, time series data, and the combination of numerical and categorical. We're not going to cover the map and network related data because we didn't cover the analytical things. We have just worked on mostly on numerical data. Okay, so we have discussed about what are different types of charts available, and bar chart, if you consider that, mostly most of the charts can cover both categorical and numerical data. For example, if you take the bar chart, the number of categories, number of how many bars are there, that will explain the categorical data, and the height of the bar will help us to analyze the numerical data. And if you take the pie chart, how many categories are there? Okay, how many portions are there? That will deal the categorical data, and percentage of the portions that will be dealt with the um, numerical data. Okay, similarly, the scatter plot, maybe I'll explain you with this uh, different types of parts. So this PDF, I have uploaded it in Folio. So this will help you to understand which chart for which kind of data analysis. Okay. So for example, if you take the bar chart, this will be in more for intuitive analysis. It's very easy. It will be helpful for non-technical audience because it is pretty straightforward, right? How many features are there? How many variables are there? And what is that? What is like portion? What is that sub number? The number will tell you how much it takes. Okay, the numerical data will be taken care by this, and then the categorical data can be taken care by this x-axis. Okay, so which is pretty straightforward one. And even by pie chart, this is also for non-technical audiences, widely used because it is pretty straightforward. It will be helpful only when you have few categories. If you have more than 10 categories, then this will be confusing. And also it will be suitable only when you have 100%. Okay, so if your data does not data sums up, it should be sum up to 100% because it deals with the data in terms of percentage. Okay, when it goes beyond 100%, then it will not be the perfect fit. So don't use the pie chart when you have too many categories, and don't use it when your percentage does not sum up to 100%. Okay, and also you cannot use the 3D pie chart, so it won't be suitable for 3D kind of plotting. So that is about pie chart. And there is another chart called stat area chart. So it will look like this. It will help us to look at the quantity, okay, more quantity, volume. It can help us to visualize the volume. So it should have at least, if there is only one feature, it won't be useful. At least 2-3 categories are there, then you can just compare the volume or quantity of the data. It will be more suitable for time series related data. So when you have more than 3 or more than 5 categories, then avoid using stacked area chart because it will be really confusing. Okay, so when you have 2 to 5 kind of category that you want to compare in terms of quantity, then you can go for stacked area chart. Mostly it will be useful for time series related data. So for this, there is a limitation that it should start with 0. And this one should start with 0. But if you use the line chart, you don't have that restriction. For this area chart, you should start with 0, but for the line chart, you don't need to start it with 0. Okay, so you can just plot many number of categories. So in bar chart, in pie chart and all, you have the restriction in terms of number of categories. But when you pick the line chart, there is no restriction in terms of categories. Okay, you can pick, when you have too many categories that you need to plot, then you can go for line chart. And then for histogram chart, this is also mostly useful for numerical comparison. To deal with the numerical category, then you can go for the histogram. It also speaks about the quantity and number of quantities. Okay, so number of observations can be seen with the bins, and then the quantity can be measured with the size of the bin. So similar to bar chart, but if you look at the bar chart, you have the space, right? But in histogram, you will not have the space. There is no gap between the bin, and also you can customize the bins. Size of the bin, and the number of bins speaks about the category. Okay, the size of the bin speaks about the quantity, numerical information. Okay, so you have the options to pick the number of bin. Okay, so there are a lot of packages, a lot of techniques are there to select the number of bins. Selecting number of bins is kind of, in certain cases, it needs tedious analysis. Okay, there are certain different algorithms are there to select the number of bins. We're not going to go deeper into that. Okay, but the next one, scatter plot. Scatter plot will be helpful when you want to do the comparison relationship between two variables, particularly two variables. There are 3D plots are also available, which will help us to do the comparisons or relationship between three variables. But normally in scatter plot, we will be doing the relationship between the two variables. When you have more than two categories, then it won't be the perfect bit. When you deal with only two categories, when you do the comparison between two categories, then scatter plot will be helpful. So you have to plot. You can visualize the value, the relationship between these two categories in through this mapping. Okay. It is like when you all the charts provides the alpha transparency when you do the coloring. But for particularly for the scatter plot, it is always recommended to use the transparency so that you can view the overline, how it is getting aggregated values. Okay, different how it is getting aggregated in terms of relationship. Those things can be clearly visible. Okay, and if you have more than one parameter, then if you now if you want to have create combine the third variable or fourth variable, normally that can be done by using different colors. When you have number of variables in two different axes, then you can select different colors for different variable in to plot it. Okay, so this can be visible here. Then regression plot is also a relationship related plotting. So it will help you to analyze the relationship between two categories. Okay, and then you can even combine different charts together, like you can combine the bar chart and line chart together. That will help you to analyze and do the comparison together. Okay, not only the quantity and quality, the categorical and numerical information, but also you can interpret the relationship between the categories. Okay, that also can be interpreted. So if you want to know more about other options, there are a lot of available options for that you can explore to know more about data visualization. Okay, so that's all about the introduction of data visualization. So in the next section, we're going to discuss about pandas. What are the methods available in pandas and how we can use pandas plot method to plot these kind of different types of plotting. See you in the next section. Thank you.